For exactly 365 days, Daiki had sat in that passenger seat, and not once had Honoka spoken more than a good morning. Until now. Honoka's knuckles were white against the steering wheel, her jaw clenched as if holding back a scream. The sedan shuddered as it rolled onto the gravel shoulder. Sunset bled orange through the windshield, but Honoka didn't slow down. She turned the key backward. The engine died. The silence was absolute, pressing against Daiki's ears like a warning.
Honoka, what the hell? We can't just stop on the highway.
I know, but I can't keep doing this. Not in silence anymore.
Do what? You are scaring me. What's going on?
This route, it's not my way home. It never was. My apartment is in the opposite direction. Every single day, I drive 20 minutes out of my way, 40 extra minutes, just to spend them near you. I rearranged my entire life for this carpool.
40 minutes? A whole year. And I never even asked her anything. What does she mean? Just to be near me. Why, Honoka? Why would you do that? Rearrange your whole life just to sit in silence with me.
Because I had to. I couldn't just forget what you did, even if you didn't know you did it. A year ago, Daiki. I was at the lowest point of my life. That morning, I walked into work ready to quit, ready to give up on everything.
Her voice cracked, the dam breaking after a year of silence. Daiki could only listen, breath held.
At the end of that day, I couldn't even make it to my car. I just sat there in the parking garage and sobbed until I had nothing left.
The parking garage that evening was cold, empty. Honoka had collapsed against her car, tears dripping onto the concrete.
I thought no one saw me, but then I heard footsteps stop. Someone was there watching me break down.
Through her blurred vision, she saw a man she didn't recognize. He set something on her car hood, then walked away without a word. It was a canned coffee, still warm, and a yellow sticky note stuck to the hood. She reached for it, hands trembling.
Those words. I must have read them 100 times that night. They were the only reason I showed up to work the next day.
What did the note say?
It said, "Tomorrow's not promised to be better, but it's not promised to be worse either." I read it 100 times. Those words stopped me from quitting my job, from giving up on everything.
The coffee cooled, but the note burned with a promise she hadn't dared hope for.
I still have it. Faded yellow, but I can't let go. It literally saved my life. Daiki.
Saved her life. I don't remember ever doing something like that. She must be mistaken.
I searched every carpool list for months. I had to find the man with those gentle hands.
She'd memorized his silhouette, the stoop of his shoulders, the quiet way he moved.
Then you got in my car the first day of the carpool, and I knew. I recognized the shape of your wrists, the way you closed the door. I've known for a whole year, Daiki. Every silent drive I wanted to tell you, and I've been so scared that if I did, you'd walk away.
How did you even find this carpool? I don't remember meeting you before all this.
I found the company carpool bulletin board. Your name stood out. Daiki, the same as the coffee cup sleeve you left behind.
The corkboard in the office hallway became her obsession. Sheets of handwritten schedules, and hidden among them, a name she could not forget.
I signed up for the route that made no sense for my apartment. The coordinator questioned me, but I just said I had moved.
Her finger traced the list, adding her name at the bottom with trembling precision. A silent contract with a stranger's kindness.
The first morning, I sat in the driver's seat, gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles ached. I was terrified you would recognize me, or worse, that you would not.
She has been driving me around for a year, and I never asked her a single thing. I just sat there like a ghost, while she held onto a note I do not even remember writing.
I never told you because I felt like a fraud, who rearranges their whole life just to be near someone who only ever says good morning. It seemed pathetic.
In her cubicle drawer, the note remained hidden, a secret she held onto while he sat beside her every day, oblivious.
Pathetic. Number. I need a second. This is a lot to take in. Can I see it? The note you kept.
Without a word, she reached into her tote bag, fingers trembling against the fabric. She pressed a worn yellow square into his palm, the edges soft ink fading from months of being held.
This is my handwriting. Those curves, the slant, definitely mine. But I don't remember writing this. Not that day, not that garage. This is my handwriting. But I don't remember that day. I don't remember you. I leave notes like this all the time. On random cars in the parking garage. I have for years.
What do you mean, random cars? You mean this wasn't meant for me?
It's just something I do. I don't even think about it. A habit from, well, a long time ago. I never expect anyone to find them.
A habit. He leaves them for anyone. All this time, I thought I was the only one. I built my world around a breeze that happened to touch me.
I've probably left dozens. One must have ended up on your car. I am sorry. I didn't know. Didn't know it would mean so much.
I saw you once, a month after. You were leaving another note on a blue sedan. Same gentle way. That's when I should have understood, but I didn't. I convinced myself that note on my car meant something more. I needed it to. You weren't saving me. You were just spreading kindness like it was nothing, and I built a whole year around a glimpse of that.
The silence between them stretched, thick enough to hold every mile she had driven for a year.
Anoka, if I could go back, if I had any idea that a sticky note would become someone's reason to keep breathing.
Then you'd write it on purpose. That wouldn't be the same. The whole point was that you didn't know. And that's why it hurts. Because it meant everything to me and nothing to you.
It didn't mean nothing. It kept her alive. But I can't rewind time and pour my soul into a note I don't even remember writing.
Outside, the last light bled from the sky. Inside, the car felt smaller, every unspoken word crammed between them.
Maybe I should have kept driving in silence. At least then I could still pretend it was all worth something.
Don't say that. Just give me a minute. I am trying to catch up to a year of something I didn't know existed. This habit, it didn't start with me. My father used to leave these notes everywhere.
He stared at the worn yellow paper, the weight of a distant memory pressing on his chest.
He'd write kind words on sticky notes and leave them on strangers' cars, never signed, never told anyone.
His father, the note wasn't just a random kindness. It was something passed down, a tradition of silent generosity.
After he died, I couldn't stop. It was the only way I could keep his presence alive.
The confession hung between them, raw and unguarded in a way. Daiki had never allowed himself.
So for years you've been scattering these tiny lifelines, never knowing who might catch one. That's not a habit, Daiki. That's a legacy.
I never expected anyone to catch it, let alone hold on to it for a year.
I thought my story was about a note and a man. Instead, it's about a son keeping his father's kindness alive, and I almost never knew.
Outside, the night was empty. Inside, a new silence settled, not hostile, but expectant.
I should quit the carpool. Tomorrow. This, me driving you. It's not fair to keep doing it.
Daiki's hand twitched. The idea of the passenger seat being empty tomorrow felt like a cold draft through the window.
She's going to walk away like none of this mattered. Like I could just go back to silence.
I'll call the coordinator first thing. I'm sorry for making things so awkward. For everything.
Wait.
Wait for what? There's nothing left to say. You know the truth now.
Just don't quit. Not yet. Please. Give us a minute to figure out what this is.
He didn't know what he wanted. Only that the empty seat tomorrow would be unbearable.
Why, Daiki? You didn't even know I existed for a year. Now you want me to stay?
Because I can't unknow it now. Her tears, her year, her hope, they're all in my hands, and I am terrified to let them drop. Anoka, I don't want you to quit. I want you to stay.
Stay? After everything I just admitted, you can't mean that.
I mean it. That note. It was my father's habit, and it reached you. That makes you part of something I can't walk away from. I don't know what this is yet, but I know I don't want to lose it. I want to keep driving, but not in silence. I want to actually know you, Honoka, if you are willing.
Know me? You've had a year. Why now?
Because now I know that the person in the driver's seat has been carrying a piece of my father's heart for a year. That changes everything.
Daiki's voice was unsteady. The words he'd never spoken finally lined up.
So please, don't quit. Let's just see where this can go, together.
Together. Okay. I'll stay. I don't really want to quit. I just didn't think you'd want me to.
The words landed softly, and Daiki let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding.
Good. That's good. Because honestly, I wasn't sure I could handle the silence again.
A whole year of silence, and you never once complained. I thought you preferred it that way.
I am an idiot who didn't even ask your favorite color. We have a lot of catching up to do.
She laughed, a small, surprised sound that hadn't been heard in this car before.
Okay then, let's start catching up. But first, let me actually get us off this shoulder.
The engine hummed to life. The dashboard lights glowed, and for the first time the car felt less like a box and more like a beginning.
So, do you like coffee? The kind from a can? I mean...
Maybe tomorrow will be better after all.
A week later, the coffee shop was warm with morning light. Daiki had arrived first, a fresh yellow sticky note already tucked in his pocket.
Sorry, I am late. The parking gods were not kind.
You are right on time. I was early because I wanted to. Well, do something.
He slid the note across the table, face up. The handwriting was deliberate, not rushed like the ones he left on strangers' cars.
Read it. I wrote it for you, not for a random windshield.
Today is already better. Today is already better. You wrote this for me?
Figured it was time. I left a note on purpose. The first of many, maybe.
Then that makes two I am keeping. This one and the old one.
And in that sunlit cafe, the little yellow note became a promise, not about tomorrow, but about today. A week later, it was Honoka who slipped into the parking garage before sunrise, a bright blue sticky note in her trembling hand. She tucked it under his windshield wiper and hurried back to her car. Heart hammering, half an hour later, Daiki's footsteps stopped at the flash of blue. The note read simply, "You were right. Today is better."
She did it. She actually wrote back.
He read it twice, then laughed to himself and reached for his phone. Soon after, her phone buzzed with his message. "Best note I've ever received."
He liked it. He really liked it. I start every day with your words now. It reminds me why I get up.
And so the notes multiplied. On windshields at dawn, on desk phones at noon. Slipped into jacket pockets between meetings, a habit inherited, now shared. Their own quiet kindness, no longer silent, no longer anonymous. 1 year to the day, since she had pulled over on the shoulder, Daiki and Honoka sat in his apartment, the old yellow note resting between them on the coffee table.
We should frame it, not hide it in a drawer anymore. It deserves to be seen.
Framed? You want to hang it on the wall like it's art?
It is art. It's the first stroke of whatever this is between us. Let's make it permanent.
They chose a simple wooden frame, nothing ornate. The faded yellow square looked almost fragile against the glass.
A whole year of silence. And now this little piece of paper is the loudest thing in the room.
Where should we put it?
There, by the window. So the first light hits it every morning.
Together they hung it, the frame clicking softly against the wall. A quiet ceremony for the start of everything.
I drove 20 extra minutes a day for a year to find that note. Now it's home. So am I.
2 years later, on a Sunday in early autumn, Daiki and Honoka stood before a small gathering of family and friends and promised each other today, tomorrow, and every day after. The framed yellow note sat on a small table near the head, a quiet witness to the ceremony. A few guests leaned in to read it, but no one asked. They could feel it was something sacred.
2 years ago, I was terrified to say good morning. Now I am saying I do.
You look like you are about to cry again.
I am crying. Happy tears. I am allowed.
Laughter rippled through the tables. Then, the gentle clink of a glass drew attention toward the front. Daiki's mother rose from her seat, a small folded paper in her hands. Her smile was warm, but her eyes glistened with something unspoken.
If I may, I have something to share about this little note.
His mother. What could she possibly?
The room held its breath. The old yellow paper in her hand looked impossibly fragile, yet it seemed to carry the weight of decades.
My husband, Daiki's father, had a quiet habit for 30 years. He left sticky notes on strangers' cars, never signed. And one day, one of those notes found me.
She unfolded the paper, its creases deep as cracks in old porcelain, and held it up for everyone to see.
The same words. Tomorrow's not promised to be better, but it's not promised to be worse either. He didn't know me, but that note kept me going when I had nothing.
For a moment, the room dissolved. It was decades earlier. A young woman crying in a parking lot, and a stranger placing coffee and a note on her hood. Then walking away.
My father. His notes saved my mother too? All these years I had no idea.
That's how we met. I searched for him. I found him, and when I saw our son's handwriting on Honoka's framed note today, I knew the kindness was inherited.
The note wasn't just a lifeline for me. It's a chain that's been saving people for decades, and I am part of it now.
The mother stepped closer to the bride and gently pressed her own note into Honoka's palm, a silent passing of the torch.
This note brought me my husband, and now it's brought you my son. You were never a fraud, dear. You were always meant to find us.
Honoka clutched the old note to her chest, tears falling freely. Beside her, Daiki pressed his hand over hers, and in that small touch, a generation of silent kindness found its voice. Later that night, in their small apartment, Daiki and Honoka stood before the wall where two framed notes hung side by side.
2 notes, 2 generations, your father's and ours. It's like the walls are holding our history.
Ours. I like that. And it started because he couldn't walk past a stranger in pain. Neither could you.
I almost quit my job that day. I almost gave up. 1 note, and everything changed.
Someone else might need that change right now. Just like you did, just like my mother.
He's thinking about them. The ones still out there. The ones he hasn't reached yet.
We should keep doing it. Together. Leave notes on cars, just like he did.
Together. I'd love that. Maybe tonight?
So they went into the cool night. A pad of yellow sticky notes in Daiki's pocket, and together they wrote a new message on a car they didn't know. A quiet kindness, no longer anonymous, but still just as generous. The chain would go on. Months passed, and the little yellow notes became a quiet morning ritual, as natural as pouring coffee.
Ready with today's lifeline.
Always. And today's has a little extra. You are already enough. Someone out there needs to hear that.
A few minutes later, in the parking garage, they tucked the note under a dusty windshield wiper, just as his father had done decades before. Then they walked back to their own car, the sun spilling gold across the asphalt.
This road used to be my detour. Now it's just the way home.
Home is wherever you are, Honoka, and wherever the next note needs to be.
And as the car pulled onto the road, the little yellow square in the rearview mirror caught the light, a reminder that kindness, once started, never truly stops. The chain continued, link by link, note by note, because sometimes the smallest gestures carry the longest echoes. In their living room, on the wall where morning light always touched first, 2 framed yellow squares hung side by side. One was aged, the ink barely visible, a relic of a stranger's kindness long ago. The other was newer, its blue ink still bright, a promise exchanged over coffee, a promise exchanged over coffee. Between them, a third note, his mother's, rested in a simple frame, completing the triptych. Daiki stood before them, his reflection a ghost in the glass.
Some habits are worth inheriting.
He thought of his father, who never knew whose life he'd touch, and Honoka, who turned a 20-minute detour into a lifetime. In the quiet of the room, the notes seemed to whisper back, "Keep going." The chain was never broken. It had only grown stronger, carried in the hands of the people who dared to leave a little kindness behind on the anniversary of his father's passing. Daiki and Honoka climbed the hill to a quiet grave under an old maple tree. Daiki held a yellow sticky note, its message simple. "Thank you for starting this." He knelt and placed it at the base of the headstone, weighting it with a small stone.
I wish you could see how far your little habit has traveled.
I am proof of it. Thank you for your son, and for this kindness.
Honoka stepped forward and leaned a small framed copy of their own note beside his, a gift for the man who started it all. They stood side by side in silence, the wind rustling the leaves above. Then, without a word, Daiki took his wife's hand, and they walked back down the path. Behind them, the two notes lay together, yellow and blue, a conversation across time. And somewhere, maybe, a father smiled. A few years later, a new passenger joined the morning drives, a small voice in the back seat, still learning the words. Daiki turned around and held out a yellow sticky note, his handwriting careful but messy.
Here, buddy. This note has a secret that Grandpa started. Want to know what it says?
The child held the note up to the light, lips moving as they sounded out the letters.
It says, tomorrow's not promised to be better, but it's not promised to be worse either. And maybe one day you'll write one too.
The child grinned, clutching the paper like a treasure.
Looks like we've got a new note lever in training.
The family business keeps growing.
And as the car rolled on, 3 generations of kindness rode with them, tucked into a little yellow square. The habit and the love was inherited. In the soft quiet of a Sunday morning, the 3 framed notes caught the first light, a small shrine on the wall of their home.
It's strange to think. That one little yellow square found me in my darkest moment, and now our whole family is built around it.
Dad's habit, my habit. Now our kids, I think he'd be proud.
They stood a moment longer, then walked away, ready for another day. In the parking garage that morning, a new note rested on a windshield, the ink barely dry. Tomorrow's not promised to be better, but it's not promised to be worse either. Again, the words waited, patient and anonymous, for the person who would need them. A chain that started in a father's quiet heart, now spanned decades, link by link, note by note, and somewhere, a hand reached out to pluck it from the glass, eyes scanning the words. The story didn't end. It simply carried on in the hands of anyone who believed a small kindness could change everything. A quiet morning, years later. A small, steady hand pressed a yellow sticky note to the windshield of a car that wasn't theirs. Daiki and Honoka watched from their car, a few spaces away, pride softening their faces.
He wrote them all by himself this time. Didn't even ask for help.
He's been watching us for years. I guess some things you just learn by living them.
The child, not so little now, stepped back and examined their work. A familiar rhythm of care in the gesture, the same message in a new hand. Tomorrow's not promised to be better, but it's not promised to be worse either. The child jumped back into the car, and a moment later, the old sedan pulled away, leaving the note behind like a quiet seed.
That note is going to find someone today. And when it does, their whole life might change.
And they'll never know it was a kid who left it. That's the beauty of it.
The car melted into the morning traffic, just another vehicle on the road. But inside it rode 3 generations of a habit that had nothing to do with habit and everything to do with